Hello, Western Civilization 105 class. Welcome to week 2. I hope you all had a great 3-day weekend. Um, I want to mention, of course, that I have not been able to get to grading all the papers for Sunday. Yet, I will try to do so as soon as possible so that if you struggled with anything, I want to make sure that you know exactly what you need to do to fix whatever you need to fix for Sunday's next paper, or if you're doing everything right, you know that, and you can just keep doing what you're doing. So I will definitely try to make sure I get onto that as soon as possible. I just want to remind you that I will always help you out if you are struggling, but you just have to communicate with me. I've had a few students have some issues, but they're not reading certain things or not communicating with me. Some other students had a rough start, but they are now on board and they're going to be fine. And this is one of the things that I want to mention. If you work hard in this class and you communicate with me, I promise you, you will succeed in this class. And you'll even learn a few things. So, okay, just briefly, I'm just going to state we're covering absolutism. We already went over Ivan Grozny or Ivan the Terrible. Also, really, maybe a more precise translation would be formidable, but in the West, that's a much more common term used for him, Ivan the Terrible. And certainly, it fits his legacy, right? That he was terrible. But I think I should point out that Grozny, and I may not be saying this precisely correct, would be more like formidable. In other words, if you were saying that your leader is formidable as opposed to terrible, that would make more sense in terms of a title for somebody who is a very powerful ruler, who, as on the side, of course, is actually quite terrible. but it'd be different, right? Like we don't. So I just want to make that clear for some of you. Now, but we talk about this absolutism, this issue of the state and the evolution of the nation states. Monarchies. Now, we're the United States, and we don't have monarchy. We are, in fact, being in the United States, we're a Western nation that is a European project, but that rejected the conservative notion of having a monarchy. We didn't just say we want to reduce the powers of the monarchy, such as what happens in Britain, but we actually rejected the entire concept. This is actually what Thomas Paine writes about in Common Sense, makes a very powerful argument against the idea of having a monarchy at all. So we founded ourselves by being anti-conservative, okay, by denouncing our king. That was our king. Okay. And so that's something that we have to kind of conceptualize, that we were a byproduct of a monarchy still, and of this European world. And the idea of, having absolute power, we look at Russia, that still is seen as a state that values strong leaders and hierarchical power by many segments in their society, and you see some of that in the East where I was at. But everywhere in the world. So here's what's good to keep in mind. I would say this: I spent 9 months in the East, Southeast Asia. Strong leaders are definitely valued, but there's still a lot of people who still want more freedom, more democracy. So you always have that segment, and then you have others that actually would sometimes want more authoritarianism, more power, and they consider that to be for the better, for various sets of reasons. So this idea for us in America, there's this notion now. An American conservative has the colonial settler value of rugged individualism, that you take on the frontier and you don't have the state breathing down your neck, the government breathing down your neck, unless it's going to protect you and your property. And that's kind of a notion that comes in with the American project. And so we kind of separate ourselves from also some of the, conceptualizing of the European world. But at the same time, we are a state that's very much a part of it, of this legacy, in certain aspects. So I want you to think about the importance of absolutism in regards to also the issues of the state, and how what we're studying here in this section, and much of what we're going to be covering in Western civilization, is going to make sense of how we lead to eventually World War I and strong men states in Europe still, such as Hitler, Franco in Spain, Mussolini in Italy, Salazar in Portugal, General Pétain in France. We'll talk about this more. These are autocrats into power. And then we can talk about Stalin. He's a part of the European world as well. He's the only leftist in this category that is a part of this absolute power structure, but quite a formidable one on top of that. So this whole entire history that we're getting is really going to help us. Again, I'm going to keep stressing this in all my videos, and I'm going to end it pretty much here. It should really help you, again, start connecting the dots to where we're at now and the complexities of where we're at now. And yeah, so I'll leave it at that, and I hope you're continuing to enjoy this material, and please reach out and question anything, not just in terms of logistics of what you need to do, but if you find something wrong information that you want to debate about, you think that there's a bias a certain place, what I'd like you to do is just contact me. Remember, you are graded for your work effort, not your point of views. Okay? That's not what I grade people on. So, that's all I got to say. Have a great week, and